Good morning, everyone. I'd just like to begin this morning. First of all, I'm here representing all of the mayors and wardens in the Strait region, and I'm here representing the Action Committee that for the past 12 months have been very dedicated, and we've been focused on one subject, and that was the opening of the mill again. Today is a very, very important day in that movement. I would like to congratulate all of those that sat in that committee, though, from the union, the chambers of commerce, all of those people that participated. I'd also like to begin by pointing out Jeff Montgomery, Deputy Minister, who in that year and his staff were very, very focused on paying attention to this committee and our actions. I'd like to compliment Mark Dubay, Ron Stern, Pacific Western, this company that's been hanging in there for the past year. But more importantly, I want to congratulate and thank the government of Nova Scotia, and in particular the Premier of Nova Scotia, for having the patience and determination to see that this mill and its future, that they put the best foot forward to make sure something happened that was positive to leave these jobs in our area. The mill has been the economic engine for eastern Nova Scotia and in fact eastern Canada. It's contributed in a major way to our past. The last 50 years we've had a great economy here, and it was held by this mill and by other business people, but this was the anchor of it all. Mr. Premier, your help in this regard has been appreciated by this committee, by all of the communities that surround the Strait, for the hard work that's been put forward. And we would like to welcome you to Port Hawkesbury and for you to come to this podium, and I'm sure you're bringing great news for all of us.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor McLean. I'm very happy to be here. You're right, this morning. I want to recognize the Mayor, the other elected officials who are here, the CEP local executive and their members. Mark Dubé from Pacific West, my colleagues in the legislature. I know there's a number of you here, members of the Executive Council, distinguished guests, citizens. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. This is a special day for this community and for the province, as it takes us another step closer to restarting the mill at Port Hawkesbury. For generations, the forestry industry has provided good jobs for Nova Scotia families. Young people could depend on the forestry sector for the opportunity to work, live, and raise their family at home. Our forestry industry has also been a key part of the provincial economy, generating important revenue that has gone into building roads and hospitals and schools. Recently, we have seen this once reliable and dependable industry face a series of challenges that have hit our rural communities hard. From the beginning, I have been clear. This government will stand with the community and protect good jobs. We will develop a new sustainable forestry industry, one that ensures that parents can have the confidence that their sons and daughters can stay home and find good jobs right here in their community. Today, the province is announcing its support for the community of Port Hawkesbury and the entire region, for the workers at the mill, for the business owners, for the workers in the forestry sector, and for the employees of all of those businesses, and most importantly, for families. We're protecting good jobs and all the benefits that go with those jobs. Through the Jobs Fund, the province is committing a $24 million loan to support capital projects that will help improve productivity and efficiency at the mill. There will be a $40 million repayable loan for working capital that will be used to assist the mill to become the lowest cost and most competitive producer of supercalendered paper in North America. $1.5 million for training so that today's workers can learn the skills needed to operate the most efficient paper machines in the industry. And $1 million to implement a marketing plan to sell the Nova Scotia Forestry brand to the world and to open up new markets for the products. Through the Department of Natural Resources, the province will also invest $3.8 million a year for 10 years from the Forestry Restructuring Fund. That investment will support sustainable harvesting practices, ensure environmentally responsible forest land management, and fund programs for woodlot owners and pulpwood suppliers to become more active in the management of their woodlands. This money has already been budgeted in departmental estimates. We are going to purchase 51,500 acres of land for $20 million. This purchase will help the provincial goal to increase Crown land ownership. It is also very good value for Nova Scotians. The business plan developed by Pacific West has been scrutinized, analyzed, and studied by experts in the financial and business sectors. The province has done its due diligence, and we are confident that it is the right plan for the province. We are investing in the most state-of-the-art piece of technology in the industry. The mill has the most modern machine in North America, and we are helping position it to take advantage of this and become a leader in producing supercaliber paper. Nova Scotia has a long and proud history in the forestry sector, and the rest of the country envies the natural resources that we have at our disposal. This investment will modernize our forestry sector to take advantage of today's current markets and opportunities. We will protect more than 1,400 jobs and more than $11 million in annual tax revenue to the economy. And it's our support, and it supports the province's plan to modernize the forestry sector for future generations. This will not happen without risks. The reality of the paper industry in the current state of European markets means we must be innovative and strategic. Protecting these jobs significantly reduces the damage a closure would cause and keeps talented Nova Scotians working and contributing to our province. If we were to do nothing, as others have suggested, the province would be giving up on the forestry sector and all of the people who work in it. It would mean our future business owners and workers would leave for jobs in other parts of Canada, splitting up families and shrinking our economy. The government has chosen to protect jobs, to grow the economy, to reposition the forestry sector, to take advantage of today's opportunities. We are confident that Pacific West is well positioned to be the most competitive and best supercaliber paper mill in the world. Nova Scotia has a strong and dedicated workforce. A healthy forestry sector needed to make this plan successful. Today is a good day for the people and families in this great region. The province has worked hard and smart to develop a package that invests in our most valuable asset, our people. We have indeed done everything we can to keep this sector of our economy healthy, functioning, and oriented toward the future. Thank you for being with us today.
You think you have protected this industry by this investment?
Well, the paper markets are in a state of flux, so it is difficult to know. What we do know is that we have one of the most modern, state-of-the-art pieces of technology for the industry anywhere in the world. We have an extraordinary workforce. We have a great natural resource. All of those things should allow this mill to be a big part of the province's economy for many, many years to come. We know and we are still waiting for the one piece of the puzzle that is just yet to come, which is we need to have a positive ruling from the Canada Revenue Agency that ultimately is necessary for the project to be a success, but I believe that what we have done here is not just invested in the mill. We have completely repositioned the mill and the sector in order to be successful in the long term.
Could you explain how you've repositioned the mill?
Right, and so that's why you see the money coming out of the Forestry Infrastructure Fund to ensure that we have the appropriate forest management practices. That's why you see the money that is part of the forgivable loan that's designed specifically to deal with efficiencies in the mill and to put in place those additional necessary technical changes that need to be made. That's why you see the investment in worker training to allow them to be the most efficient and productive workforce as they wish to be and as they are dedicated to be. So those are all pieces of how we have repositioned the sector.
Stern bought this mill for $33 million. You're investing on behalf of the taxpayers of this province almost 4 times that to make it to get the mill back up and running. What does that say about the viability of this mill?
Well, I don't think you can look at it in that fashion. There are lots of numbers. This mill represents 2.5% of the GDP of the province. 1,400 jobs, 1,400 families who depend on this work. There is more than $11 billion a year in provincial tax revenue that would be lost, direct provincial tax revenue would be lost if this mill did not operate. Those are all numbers. But you know something? Families, communities, industry, those are the bricks upon which a province is built. And sometimes government must be the mortar between those bricks.
Why didn't you define what continuous operation of the mill of PM2 is? Why not in terms of the period of shutdowns? I believe under the previous agreement with $10 million a year, there was a definition as to how long the mill could be shut down in order to not be able to receive the money. So why isn't that contained in this agreement?
We're working with a new partner with Stern. They have a great track record at all the other mills that they have operated. If you look at every aspect of their business plan, they have undertaken them in good faith. So we have a good faith relationship with Pacific West. And we acknowledge that over the years to come, there may well be periods when the mill will have to respond to the markets of the world. That is a part of the paper business, no matter where you are. So we are confident that Pacific West will mandate and will manage in a way to maximize the use of that machine. Otherwise, there is no business. So, this is what we're here to do, is to ensure that we have the best asset anywhere in North America, and to see to it that it's used to its maximum potential.
Premier Dexter, you outlined that some of the loans are forgivable. Could you explain that in more detail?
Well, the one loan is forgivable. There's a $24 million loan that goes into capital improvements. It is based on certain targets that they would have to meet as a result of numbers of jobs, hours of operation, all of those kinds of things. There is also a provision, because we said if we're going to actually be a partnership on the forgivable loan, then there ought to be some upside, for the province. We ought to be able to look down the road and say, okay, when you're successful, when you're making money, we'd like part of that. So there's actually a profit-sharing provision built right into the agreement that would allow us, after the mill becomes profitable, to recover up to $9 million of that money back. This was the point of this. We're here to invest in a business that's going to be profitable for the long term. Stern is not here simply to act as an operator and to receive subsidies from the province. That's not what they're here for. They're here to run a business. They're here to be part of the economy. They're here to take advantage of the natural resources that we have, including, and I think most importantly, the professional, well-trained, dedicated workforce of this community.
Why the change in approach in terms of management of Crown lands, and why is the province retaining control over the lands and rather than going with a traditional lease agreement?
Well, because we wanted to make sure that we're in a position to carry forward on the natural resources strategy that we outlined earlier this year. We want to ensure that the goals that we set out are met, and one of the ways to do that is to purchase the land and to ensure that we have a utilization lease agreement arrangement that suits both the needs of Stern, the needs of the softwood suppliers, and the wider community. Well, thank you very much for being with us this morning. Thank you.
Just closing comments, I'd like to say, one thing is don't forget, keep in mind that this company will write checks for $160 million a year, annually, for the future. The impact with that kind of money in our economy is just tremendous, that we look forward to. I would like to mention the anxiety of the pensioners, the small business people, the people that have been unemployed for 12 months, the impact of this mill closing in eastern Nova Scotia, and I'm talking for hundreds of miles. I've talked to business people, their sales are down 30, 40%. This is the lifeblood of our island and our province of Nova Scotia. Keep in mind also, if you may, that those people that talk about investment in industry, this is the last major industry in pulp mills. There's Abercrombie and here, and I think one more in the valley. And they are the last vintage of pulp mills going. But this is a special mill with special equipment, but we also have a special company, Pacific West, that have integrity and management skills never matched in eastern Nova Scotia. So please, urban Nova Scotia, live with us for a while, help us out by supporting this industry, and our whole region is blessed that everybody's stuck with us for such a long time. Thank you very much for coming.